everyone, it's Tawney. I wanted to sit down and talk with you guys about some stuff that's been going on lately. I feel like I need to fill you all in on whoever is watching my vlogs and cares at all about what I have to say. I slept in my shower hair last night. I got these scrunchies. I don't think you can really tell, but they're like shower scrunchies or like towel scrunchies or something that they're supposed to be used like after you get out of the shower. And like, I didn't brush my hair. I just pulled it up into a ponytail because I wanted to keep it off my back because it was kind of cold last night. And we're getting like an insane cold front. Like, it's not unbearable by any means, but it's cold. And we've been getting that since Friday evening. Like Thursday and Friday was like 60s and it was okay. And I know that this is bad for like global warming and stuff because it's December and like we shouldn't be having warm weather. But with me being a summer girl, I'm like enjoying it for what it is, even though I know it's like bad for the planet. So I'm just like taking it all with a grain of salt. But yeah, and I didn't want to be cold, so I put my hair up. So this is the next day. I haven't brushed it out yet. I've just been like doing stuff this morning. I've been working on doing better with my sleeping. I've been having some problems with a pinched nerve right in my neck and shoulder area here on my right side. And I sleep on my right side for the most part. Like, I start off on my right side because I play on my phone and do whatever before I go to bed. Like, I watch a lot of Instagram reels right before I go to sleep. So I do a lot of that. And then I roll over, but most of the time I end up on my right side. And I'm looking into getting a better pillow, but I'm still like in the process of looking into it because I don't really know what I'm doing, where to start, how any of this is going to work. So like, I'm in the process of doing that, but I've like taken a pillow from my side and moved it in hopes that like I'll change the angle of how I'm laying and it'll help my shoulder. Because I had noticed the weekend after Thanksgiving that my hand was like severely hurting. Like, my boyfriend and I went to this ramen place to try it out and I couldn't use the chopsticks because my hand hurt. Like, I was struggling to eat because my hand was in so much pain. And I was like, this is not normal. And I had a doctor's appointment scheduled for like the week, like the Thursday after Thanksgiving. So like a week after Thanksgiving. And I was like, well, I'll just talk to her then because like there's no sense in like trying to figure things out beforehand. When I have an appointment, I'll just deal with it all there. And, but I had noticed that like right here was hurting and everything I looked up kept saying like carpal tunnel. And I play the piano. I play my Nintendo Switch a lot. I'm on my phone a lot. I type at work like on my keyboard and like that's not really a problem. Like I could still type okay. So like I use my hands a lot and I also have to like deal with children at work. So like if I can't play, if I can't hold a baby, like I'm severely incapacitated for that period of time. And I'm right-handed. So if I can't do anything with my right hand, I'm kind of just like out because I have no strength in my left arm at all, like the whole length of my arm, because I don't work out, I don't exercise, I don't really do anything to like strengthen my arm. So I like, if I can't use this arm, I'm kind of out. But so I talked to my doctor and she had me do like a carpal tunnel test and she's like, no, that's not it. She's like, it could be a pinched nerve. And I was like, well, my shoulder and my neck's been hurting and that's what I've been told is that's a pinched nerve. So she's like, okay, here's some exercises, try these out. So I've been doing these for the last couple of days. And while I was at the doctor's, I also had talked to her about wanting to lose some weight. And like, anytime I go to the doctor, I don't look at the scale. I don't like them to say it out loud. Like, most of the time they're good about not saying it, but I kind of think they are at the point that like, they see the weight, they know that I'm a girl. Like, maybe they can tell that like I'm not super comfortable with it being said out loud, so they don't. I don't know. And I'm kind of just appreciative that that's like the situation because I just like am not comfortable knowing it because I know it's a lot higher than I want it to be. And like, I'm just not like comfortable. I can't deal with that, even though I want to deal with it. Like, I want to deal with it. So I talked to her about it and she said, well, there's this program through our county's health department that's about like healthy eating, healthy habits. It kind of like is a health coach in a way. So she's like, I'll send a referral in and then that way we'll get things started. And I was like, well, that's kind of what I wanted, but I'm doing an intake with her on Tuesday. So, and that's 2 days from now. So I'm hoping that that all works out and I can get that like under control because I really want to lose weight because I've been feeling really self-conscious lately and like, I'm at a size I've never been before in my life. And like, just, there's certain things that like, I can't do. I had gotten sick with the C word back in 2021 And I don't know if because of that or because of my weight, I struggle with like, I get out of breath pretty quickly. Like, I have a really steep hill I like at work where we park along the hill up the street kind of a thing, like along the street up the hill. That I'm hoping I'm like describing this the right way. It makes total sense to me. But and sometimes I have to park at the top of the hill. Walking down is okay, but walking up, I get to my car and I like need a minute to like breathe. And like I'm not out of breath just like sitting down talking like this, but like if I have to walk for long periods of time, I'm like I'm like severely like trying to catch my breath, and I'm like I feel like this is a problem. And I just kind of want to get that, like I want to become like more into walking. I want to just like be able to do general things. Like I don't need to be able to lift 100-pound weights. I don't need to be able to run a marathon or like do any of these like heavy insane workout exercise things, but I at least like to be able to like be more active in general. Like, and I do want to lose some weight because like I've noticed some of my clothes don't fit right, like stuff I've had for a long time doesn't fit right. I'm very uncomfortable in my own body, and like that's why I wear sweatshirts a lot. I wear loose fitting clothes. I wear leggings, but I think that's because I like the comfort of things being suctioned to my legs. I've always been that way. Like I was a skinny jean type person growing up. So I want to just like be able to feel more confident just wearing anything. And I think that like I'm gonna have to explore that and like push myself a little bit, but I'm just not at that point that like I struggle to find clothes that fit. Right now I'm at a point that like bras that I can find at Walmart, I'd have to buy online because they don't have my sizes in store. And it's just really weighing on me. And like I just feel like for my mental stability, I need to get it under check, like under control. And then I went on to, this is kind of where I wanted to make a video about this, but I also wanted to be like more okay to talk about it because like I called my boyfriend and I was like hysterically crying, and he's like, you need to calm down. And I was like, you need to let me cry and shut your mouth. Like I was like, I don't need any of this, like I just need you to like let me cry and tell me it's okay. Like that's all I like, that's why I called you. And so I had gone on, we have like this patient portal thing where you can go on a website, and if you use like our hospital has this portal, so you can go on and see like any of your appointments that were at the hospital or with anybody that is within the hospital system, and you can see like all of your appointments, what happened, if you have any like if you have any surgeries coming up or any kind of like appointments that were made, or like if you need to get any testing done, that kind of thing, you can all like, you can see all of that. And my doctor is connected with that program, so I could see like all my doctors and all this meshed up. So I was told I had to get blood work, but it wasn't listed as like when. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I went on this portal and I saw that it had like a summary of my appointment with my doctor, like my PCP. So I was like, okay, let me go in and look this up and like see what this says. So I go in and I like scroll down and I like see my weight, and I just like immediately keep scrolling. I'm like, I'm not even gonna look. I don't even want to like know the general area. Like I don't even want to know it because I'm just so like, I can't. So then I keep scrolling and it says like reasons for coming, and it said something about my arm, and it said about like wanting to reach out for mental health, which I'll talk about, you know, later on in the video. And then it said morbidly obese, and I couldn't read beyond that because my brain like shut down. I was just like, and I don't mean to laugh because it's not funny in the slightest. I was just like, I know this is probably helpful for the doctor and for anybody in the medical profession, but to call me morbidly obese when I'm reaching out for help because I feel like I'm overweight and I'm like depressed about it is like, it's a slap in the face. And I'm like tearing up right now just talking about it because I had told her that I felt very depressed and like I've been having a lot of like mood swings in the last couple years. And I was like, I've noticed it since I started taking birth control, but I also started getting with a boyfriend who kept telling me I was like overreacting. I was having like mood swings. I was being like too moody. And I think it was just, he wanted me to feel bad, and it wasn't so much like I was allowed to have those feelings. He just didn't want to deal with it, so he wanted me to get things in check so he could deal with the in check version of me. I think that's how this all went, like how this is, you know, playing out. So she had done like a depression scale, and she's like, you know, you're rating kind of high, and she recommended me whatever, and I'll get into that. But we had one of the questions was, do you like find yourself overeating or eating unhealthy? And I was like, extremely. Like I like listed, it was like a scale. I don't know if you've ever done those or seen those, but it kind of goes from like not a lot to like all the time. And I was like all the time. And I'm like, every time I sit down on the couch, I'm eating. I get done dinner and I'm looking for a snack like the second after. And that's kind of the whole reason I wanted to get like, I kind of wanted to work with a dietitian to do like a food plan and like keep a food diary, but I wanted to do it in a healthy way and not like I'm restricting myself. I'm like falling into a eating disorder kind of thing, because I totally get, now that I'm at this point that I'm like actually looking into it, I can totally understand why people fall into like exercise and like that becomes an addiction, and why like they start dieting heavily and it becomes a problem, because you're just so obsessed with like the need to lose weight, the need to change how you are and how you look and everything, and you just become obsessed with fixing it. And it's like a problem in your head and you want to fix it. Because I worked out one time, I just did some like basic yoga Pilates type thing in my apartment, and I was like, I feel like every time I'm hungry, I just need to work out. I just need to like insanely work out. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, on Full House, the like original Full House, DJ did that. She wanted to lose, I think it was DJ, and she just kept working out constantly. And I feel like that's kind of like what I was going to fall into. And I knew myself well enough, and I was like in a good state mentally enough to know to like get out of that, stop doing that if that's not healthy. So I want somebody that's going to hold me accountable, that I can like talk to them about this, that I can explain what's going on in my head, how I'm feeling, how I'm actively like practicing healthy habits and things like that. Like, I want that person to like tell me, okay, you're on the right track, or no, this is getting kind of unhealthy, we need to change this. And it just like made me feel so like upset that it said morbidly obese, when I told her that I wanted to lose weight, I wanted to get healthier, and then also that eating was a severe like trigger for me because of my depression and whatever. And she had told me that like she didn't think that my mood swings and stuff were related to like my birth control. And I was like, I've always been moody growing up, but I always just thought it was because I was a teenager, because all teenagers are moody. But I was like, I just always felt like I was like from one extreme to the next, like very manic. I never have depressive states where like I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't do stuff. I just wanted clean, and cleaning is one of my favorite things to do. So that's how I could tell I was like not doing okay. And I told her, I'm like, some weeks I'm like really okay, and other weeks I'm like super, super bad. And I had talked about this in a Get Ready With Me that I think I've posted since then. So I'm not sure like what all I've touched on, but I know I haven't touched on like the follow-up stuff. But I was just like, there's some weeks that I'm like totally fine. I feel great. I'm okay with like doing things by myself and not going out with friends all the time, and just like watching TV in the evenings, and you know, just like typical stuff. And then there's other weeks that like the second my boyfriend leaves, I just go into this like spiral, and I'm like in a pit that I can't get out of, and I just feel like my mood is like completely like destroyed. And I'm like, I don't know why, I don't know how to fix it. Everything that makes me feel better does not help. And I'm like, that's when I feel like I need an additional like and I had told her, like, I wanted to look into seeing a therapist. I wanted to talk to somebody, because I feel like even as a therapist, as a social worker, I'm not able to solve this problem myself. I need kind of an extra help to get there. And so she had like recommended me to some places. Well, of course, the first place I called, they're like, well, she had got me in touch with this guy who gets me in touch with the therapy offices. And he says, okay, now it's your job to reach out, schedule the appointment, do whatever. So I went to one, and they're like, so we're not covered under your insurance. And now I'm realizing that like American insurance is like complete trash. And I'm 27, turning 28. I'm 26, turning 27. Yes. Yeah, my birthday's coming up in like 3 weeks. So I'm like, I'm having a mental crisis about my birthday age. I'm like, Joey and Monica and Friends when they turn 30. And I fully know I'm probably going to end up drinking to the point that I'm like, you know, fine with my age, even though I'm really not. But I don't even know where I was going with this. But I was like, I kind of want to just get like a therapist to help me deal with this. And the doctor had made the comment, because we had talked about this, just because I needed to like correct the family health, like the family history or whatever on my thing. Because I was like, I went on the portal after my last appointment with a different doctor, and I was like, I noticed it said that my father was still living, and I was like, he has since passed away. And I was like, can you fix this? Because I don't know how to fix it. And I was like, they never asked me at the doctor's office. And I told them last year, I went to the doctor like a week after my dad passed, and I told the doctor, and she never fixed it. And I was like, it's not a big deal, but I'm like, I don't want you to like need something that's relating to that, and then I'm like, oh, sorry, I can help you, he's dead, like, I don't know what to help you, like, I can't. So she fixed that, and then after we were talking about all, like, I wanted to get my mental health in check, she's like, I'm thinking maybe it's related to your father's passing and you just haven't, like, coped with it properly, like, you haven't, like, dug deep into it and, like, resolved that, like, issue within your brain. So I just feel like the problems are more than just, like, what I can deal with. And I had reached out looking for, like, maybe medication, because I'm like, I don't want to stop taking my birth control. I've been on it for like 6-7 years now, and I kind of just want to keep taking it, honestly. Like, I'm not at the point that I want to, like, get off of it and, like, try something, like, and, like, just find other ways to, like, handle my, like, periods and stuff. I don't really want to deal with it right now. I'm okay with where I'm at taking it. And, like, I, like, just kind of was like, maybe if I get, like, some sort of, like, antidepressant, it might help me, like, calm the, like, mood swings that are going on. And, like, I never have bad thoughts of, like, hurting myself or others, but sometimes I have thoughts of just, like, I can't do this, I'm too overwhelmed, I just can't deal with anything, like, and I just kind of, like, shut down. So I wanted medication that could help with that, but she didn't quite seem, and I don't know, a lot of doctors don't like to push medication, and I understand that. A lot of times it's based on your own views and how you feel, and it's just kind of like, if you want to do medication, that's up to you, but if not, that's fine as well. So I don't know, like, I'm still kind of in the process. I got so discouraged after finding out that my insurance wouldn't cover one of the places I had looked into. The one that I was, like, excited to actually go and do, like, I was excited to talk to somebody and, like, get a little bit of help. And then it was like, oh, we can't help you. And I was just like, well, now I'm back to square one. I just feel, like, so defeated. And I know it's not, like, a big hit, but it's still enough of a hit that, like, I'm just like, I'm reaching out for help and now I'm being told I can't get the help because of freaking insurance. Yeah. So, to change the topic, the doctor was very nice, but I left there feeling very, like, okay, you saw my weaknesses and you went after them, and you, like, it just, that morbidly obese thing really, like, I'm still trying to get over that. I feel a lot better about it now, but it keeps me up at night sometimes. But, so, Thanksgiving, oh, talk about something else terrible that happened. My cat started showing signs the Monday before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's Thursday, the Monday before. He started showing signs that he wasn't able to pee properly. And I was like, oh my gosh, we've had problems with 2 cats at home that are one is a brother from the same litter, and one is a brother from, like, the next litter, same mom. So I messaged my sister and I was like, is this what happened to the other cats? Because I'm freaking out. And she's like, yep. And I was like, okay, gonna need to call a vet. I was like, I'm freaking out. I don't want anything to happen. It's too close to Thanksgiving. What if they need to keep him? I want to make sure he's okay, and that them leaving on Thanksgiving doesn't mean that he's gonna come back, like, they're gonna come back Friday and he's gonna be, like, dead in the cage or whatever. Like, they did an x-ray, they did an ultrasound, they found some crystals, but no, like, bladder stones or anything. So you don't need to change his diet, but they gave him some shots and he'll be fine. So Wednesday rolls around. He's acting fine, whatever. Wednesday comes and he went to use the litter box, and I followed him because I was like, I want to make sure he's going to the bathroom. I'm going to be that neurotic parent that's going to be, like, up his butt and, like, double, triple checking everything. So he goes in to use the litter box, stands there. Like, 5 minutes go by. He kind of grunts a little bit. Not much, but he kind of, like, I could tell he was struggling. He gets out of the litter box and stands there. Like, literally takes the steps out where his feet are just, like, on the other side of the litter box, and he just stands there. Then he looks at me and he cries. And, like, when you're a pet parent, you know a good cry from a bad cry. I feel like any kind of parent, you know a good cry from a bad cry. And I could tell, this is a bad cry, you're in pain. So he did it again. And then he wasn't moving a whole lot. Like, he, like, would just kind of stand there and just, like, he was, like, struggling to, like, with his mobility and stuff. So I called a vet that I know does emergency stuff, and I was like, I'm not a patient, but I have my cat that's having some issues. Can I get seen? And she's like, well, hold on a second. So I was like, okay, you're probably not going to, you're going to tell me I can't come here. And she's like, sorry, we're not able to take people who aren't currently a patient, which is a big problem in our area with veterinarians, I've noticed, and a lot of people have complained about it, but none of the vet offices have ever done anything to fix it. They've just, like, sorry about your luck, go find another vet, like, deal with it on your own. They just kind of, like, don't care. And they were like, well, we can recommend a place that's, like, an hour to an hour and a half away, and it's an emergency, so you know they're going to cost more. And then you know that, like, the drive the night before Thanksgiving and the cost of it, plus the cost of it being an emergency and a holiday, they probably are going to like overly charge for something that like would already cost a lot. They're going to make it charge more. So I called my mom and I was like, I don't know what to do. He's freaking out. I'm freaking out. And she's like, well, I'm not driving all that way and we're not paying those prices. And I was like, so my cat's just going to die then. Great. Thanks. I was just like, I don't know what you want me to do because I'm having a meltdown. She's like, well, they gave him some shots, so he's probably fine. And I was just like, well, I wanted to put the blame on them because I'm like, you didn't do enough. And I was like, maybe you should have tried to watch him pee to make sure he can actually pee before you send him away and just say it's going to be fine. Like, that was kind of my biggest concern. It was just like, you didn't check and then you just let him go. And it was like, what if there was more, like, whatever. So I was like, fine, I'll let it go. But if he dies, I'm going to be like severely upset. So Thanksgiving rolls around and I wake up early in the morning and I just can't sleep. I'm like so obsessed with like, I need to know that my cat's okay. So I go out and get him and he'd been sleeping on the couch all night. So I bring him in to lay with me and he's like not moving much. He's so lethargic and like sluggish. And he lays with me and I'm just like, he's going to die in my arms. I'm like, he's literally going to die in this bed on Thanksgiving. So I'm like laying there like hysterically crying because he's my cat. Like I've had him since he was born, and he's my cat. Like he's always been my cat. Even when he didn't live with me, he was my baby. And I was just like, I can't do this. I can't do this. So then he started showing signs of being like, he was playing more. He was like being more active. So I was like, okay, this is a good sign. And I was just trying to take it like slowly. I didn't want to get overly excited. I didn't want to be like, oh my gosh, everything's fine. So we go to my nan's to help her with Thanksgiving because she wasn't able to do all the turkey stuff herself. So I was just like freaking out, like I need to check on Chad. So I went home and I checked on him and he was fine. He was eating. He wasn't really peeing much, but he had peed a little bit in the process. So I was like, okay, that's still something. I'll take a little bit, even if it's not much. Like it's not normal, like the normal amount, but it's still good enough. So then Thanksgiving comes and goes and everything's okay. Then the next day he's still doing okay. He gets a little bit better and my mom's like, you need to schedule a follow-up appointment just for them to check on him and see that he's okay. So I make an appointment and in the meantime, he's fine. Everything's okay. I noticed he started licking himself a little bit, like down in that area. He started licking and I was like, I don't know if that's a problem, but he's still peeing. So I'm guessing he's okay. So I go to the vet with him this past Tuesday and they were like, okay, we're going to do another ultrasound to check on him. So the girl comes back in and she's like, we noticed that the clusters are forming into like, or the crystals are forming into clusters. So she's like, we're going to need to put him on a diet. And I was like, oh, the food is so expensive. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like it makes me not want to have another cat. I'm literally like, my guinea pig had issues. He got expensive. The cat is having issues. He's getting expensive. I don't want any more pets that are going to cause me all this like pain and suffering on my part. So I left there and I was just like, okay, let's figure out what all of this is. Pet food for a male cat that is having urinary infections and trouble and whatnot is so effing expensive. It is so expensive. And I'm just like, I told my mom, what's the point of getting your cat fixed if it's just going to like cut his life cycle short? Like, I feel like now he's like gonna die faster than if we wouldn't have got him fixed. And I was just like, why don't they tell you that this could be a problem when you get your cat fixed and warn you? And I was like, they're just so easy to just fix the cat, prevent cats from having more, like from like reproducing. And then, oh, by the way, your cat could potentially die in a couple years from having a urinary block. And it just like blows my mind that it's just like, nobody told you ahead of time. We had no idea until we got all of the cats fixed. And then 3 of them now have had issues. We took one to a separate vet and he's been fine. So I'm just like, I don't know what the problem is. If it was like whoever did it, they just did it wrong. And it's like a thing that everyone in this area does it wrong. But I'm like, I don't ever want to have a male cat and I hate female cats. So it looks like I'm never having more cats after Chad. And then I have news. I have drama, saving the best for last. I got home Tuesday to take my cat to the vet, right? And I noticed there was a sign on my door. And I was like, oh great, what's this? And I've been having some issues like my landlord's been having some issues and he had talked about potentially selling the property where the house beside me and my garage apartment are at. Like it's a shared property kind of a thing. So if you sell it, you'd sell it as one big property, as one house with a conjoined whatever. Like, So I was like, oh my gosh, he's evicting me. He's kicking me out. This is it. And I was like, great. Great Christmas birthday present for me. Like, that's great. So I go up and look at it and it says, sorry, we hit your trash can. And I was just like, steam, steam. And I was just like, take a breath, take a breath. And I look over, my trash can's like severely dented. I might try and post pictures because I do have pictures. I won't post the note, but I'll post a picture of the trash can because I don't want the note to, like, I don't want people to like. So I take the note inside and I go to my boyfriend because he was staying at my house at that point, and I hand it to him and I was just like, read this. So he looks at it and he's like, so the neighbor hit your trash can. The neighbors that I like, they have the house, I have the garage apartment. We share a driveway. So they have the side of the driveway closest to their house. I have the driveway that like goes straight to my front door, like as far over on the property as it can be. So last week, to go back a week, trash gets picked up Tuesdays, like Tuesday morning, Tuesday day, whatever time the landlord comes and gets it. So I put my trash can out like close to the driveway, but not overly close, because I wanted to put it close to like the landlord didn't have to walk halfway through my yard to get my trash can. Like, I'm being polite. I've always put it there, and I've been here like 2 years now. So last week I look out the window, it's like Monday night, so the trash hasn't been taken, but I just put it out, and I notice my neighbor is backing out. And so like my apartment, I want to show you so you can understand. My apartment is like this. The door is here, garage doors are here. They have this side going out of like from here, that whole like side. They have that side of the driveway. And there's one car that they'll park up tight against the garage, and then they park 2 more behind it, if not 3 more, because they don't know how to park. It's been a problem. If you have ever watched any of my vlogs, you'll know. So they have this car that is parked right up against the garage doors that they always, like, my car's here, this car's here, they back up behind my car and then back out and go. And normally I don't mind it because whatever, but it's also like, this is my side of the driveway, you shouldn't ever have to use it. But if I don't have a car there, I can understand that it's like fair game, whatever. I'm very like, this is my personal property, leave it alone. Like, I'm very like obsessive and like possessive, I should say. So I was like, to me, I just don't want it. I don't want them to touch it. But then I also understand that, like, well, if there's no car, it's up to anybody. So whatever. So they had backed this car out, and I don't know if it wasn't the person who owns the car, because it's a family. They're a family. You know what I mean? It's not like they're just strangers living in a house together and there's all these cars and it's just up to everybody to like figure out the parking situation. It's a family. So they can go in and say, hey, you need to move your car so I can get out. Like, they just don't. So the car backs out and like backs out at an angle. And I was like, why are you backing out like that? Like, I was standing in the opposite bedroom, like on the wall where I'm facing, opposite over there. And I like to look out the window. I stalk them sometimes. But I just want to make sure they're not going to hit me. They're not going to like ruin anything. Like, I want to know. And I should have recorded this for proof, but in the moment, my brain wasn't thinking that way. So they back out at an angle, and I'm like, you're never getting out this way. And my trash can was like blocking that. They probably could have like kept going had there been no trash can, but because the trash can was there, they had to stop. So they back out at that angle, then they like pull forward toward my car. And I'm like, okay, they're adjusting. They just backed out weird, whatever. Like, maybe their tires were turned and like they just kind of like went out differently, like whatever. Well, then they back up, like they're into the grass now. So they're backing up like straight into my trash can. And I was doing one of these, I'm like, what the F are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Stop. They slammed on their brakes to avoid hitting my trash can. And I was just like, they hit it. And I was just expecting like a small little like dip in it, whatever. This isn't when they hit the trash can, by the way. This is a week before. So they like almost hit my trash can. I didn't see anything wrong with it because I even went downstairs, walked out my door and looked because I wanted to make sure. My trash can still looked okay. Well, then they pulled forward, almost hit my car. And I was just like, what are you? I'm like waving at this point. I'm like fully, I don't even care. If you're going to hit my car, I'm throwing fists. And these people are kind of like, I don't do confrontation, so anybody scares me. But the like dad of this family is very big and bulky, and he's also a wrestler, so I know he could fully take me down. But I'm so angry that I'm like a big 10-foot tall, 500-pound monster that's like gonna come at you. Like, I'm fully ready to throw fists, you know? I'm ready to go. So then they drive off. Like, I feel like they saw me. So they back out and like floor it to get down the street and leave. And I was like, I don't know what the F that was about. They probably knew they were in the wrong and they were trying to get out. So whatever. So I didn't notice anything wrong with my car, no big deal, whatever. So then I come home for the vet appointment the next Tuesday, right? And the night before, I was like, I'm going to move the trash can out a little closer to the driveway. And I was like, I'm going to see if they're going to hit it. Because I'm like, realistically, you shouldn't be even close to my trash can. I was like, you should be like it shouldn't even be close in the vicinity of them at all. So I'm like, I can do whatever I want with my trash can because it's my side. And I'm like, if anything happens to it, it's on you. So I come home and I see the note and it says, we hit your trash can. Sorry about that. Here's some money to replace it. And I was just like, I want to be mad, but they gave you the money for it. But it's also like, don't screw up, so you have to say sorry later. I feel like that's like the typical YouTube apology thing. And that's just all I can think in my mind. So I look at my trash can and it's all dented up. And I'm sure I could take the dents out with a hammer and some anger because I definitely got some. I always have anger, you know. So I showed my boyfriend the thing. Then I showed him the trash can when we were leaving with my cat. And I was just like, I don't even, and I was like, how are they not paying attention to not hit my trash can? Like, that's just my first thought is like, how do you not see it? The car that they park up against the garage is exactly like mine and has a backup camera because I have one. Like, I can see their camera on the like back of their trunk to know they have one. So I'm like, how were you not paying attention to not hit my trash can? And I was just like, I want to completely ignore the fact that they gave me money to replace it because at this point, it's like, you've now affected me and like made me I'm kind of pissed off now, honestly. And now I can't, like, I'm worried about leaving my car in the driveway. And I back my car in and I park as close to the grass on my side as I can get so they have enough room to not hit me. So I don't know what the F is going on in their brains that they can't park properly and they have to hit my stuff. But I swear, if they hit my car, all bets are off. Like, they hit my sister's car and we didn't turn it into insurance because we're like, it's not that big a deal. We'll just let it go. We don't want to cause any problems. But if they hit my car, I'm calling insurance. I'm getting them to they're not going to give me cash for it to like cover it up and not have insurance get involved. Because I know that people do that. I watch a lot of car crash videos. I know. I'm getting insurance involved because at that point, you're like messing with like, you could like ruin my car. And I'm like, that's not happening. Like, we're not doing this, you know, like I'm not putting up with this. So, just another day in the life of Tawney. I hope you enjoyed my topics and my conversations and my stories today because it was a lot. Let me know if you've had any issues with a doctor or with a neighbor or anything like that. I love stories. I love neighbor drama. I love it. So if you have anything, please tell me because I'd love to read it and like, just that satisfaction of like, you get revenge, like pettiness. I love pettiness. It's so like childish, but I love it. I live for it. Happy whatever holiday you celebrate. If you don't celebrate holidays, happy December. Happy winter solstice, because that is a thing now. It's almost winter and I hate it. It's gonna be the worst 3 months ever, but yeah. So thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Ring that notification bell so you get notified on if any more drama happens within my life. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.